Hi, Stuart.
Hi, Elkie.
Hi. Thank you very much for agreeing to talk to me today. Just to introduce ourselves, first, I think, for anybody who's watching the clip, I'm Elkie Holland from Prospectus IT Recruitment, who specialise in the multi-value marketplace. Stuart, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Sure. I'm Stuart Shepherd. I'm Managing Director of APT Solutions. We're the UK Master Distributor for the U2 product set.
Thank you. This week there have been some surprising announcements, basically with the IBM announcement of the sale of the U2 products. Can I get your reaction to that?
Sure. The first thing is that it was one of surprise. We heard about it at the same time as everybody else, which was the evening.
Okay.
But now we've had some time to reflect on it. I think it's a very positive thing.
Okay. What was your initial reaction? Because I've been hearing very mixed things in the marketplace. What was your initial reaction?
Well, surprise, obviously. I don't think anybody really expected that that was going to happen. But it's more a reflection after the event. When we look at the reasons or the possible reasons why this has taken place, they all point to a very positive move for the U2 product set in itself.
Okay. I mean, before we look at any positives, which you're obviously finding, people seem to be very concerned about the loss of the name IBM. How detrimental do you think that will be? Or
Well, I think it's a sales argument that we've all been through, haven't we? When you're looking at selling your product and you get asked the question, what database does it run on, and you go, it's an IBM database, it resolves a lot of possible problems. That, of course, will no longer be the case, and we'll be operating off the scenario of this is a Rocket software database, which itself will raise questions. I think, though, with careful planning about how you answer the questions and how you deal with that scenario, it's not going to be as bad as people may think at first. We've been in that situation before, and we expanded the product and the sale of the product, mentioning the name Ardent and Infomix before it became IBM.
okay.
However, that's not making the loss of the IBM brand insignificant. It is a blow that we lose that backing, but I think, again, and I've said this twice already, the positives far outweigh the negatives of losing the IBM brand.
Okay, we'll come on to the positives in a minute if we may, but what do you know about Rocket?
We've done our own research into Rocket from their website and various other things. One, we know that they're a good software company, and they specialise in the OEM marketplace. Now, that's really one of the things that IBM were not able to do with U2. It really didn't fit their software platforms very well in terms of it being an OEM embedded product that was within people's solutions. IBM promoted IBM and its relevant software streams, and U2 was part of the information management stream. And of course, it was up against DB2 and Informix itself, and it was a very small slice of a very big cake.
Okay.
And that itself presented problems. When we look at Rocket, they've got 700 employees worldwide, 23 in the UK, which doesn't sound very much, but when you consider that there's probably less than 15 youth employees in the UK, that's a very good balance in terms of what we're actually going to be serving with, financially sound, and in the right sector. U2 will represent, as we are aware, just about a third of their revenue stream, and that means it's going to get appropriate focus on what U2 needs to do to expand.
Do you think that means that perhaps there might be more marketing, more development? Is that what you're hoping for out of this?
Absolutely. I think IBM itself, whilst it's a massive organisation, has straitjackets surrounding it as well in terms of obtaining marketing funding, the way that new product has to come to market. For example, the work involved in taking a point release on a product, say Unidata 7.2 to Unidata 7.3, within the IBM constraints is enormous, not just the development side itself, but the actual requirements on the full product release strategy that has to go through with IBM. Now, I would hope that some of that, whilst retaining the quality of the releases, will make it much easier for development to move forward more rapidly. So I think, again, a very good viewpoint from that.
That's quite a major positive, really, for companies who are using it to develop their systems, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. I think Susie and the team have always listened to what the base requires, and they've taken that on board and then developed what they can from it. I would hope that with the early adopter program that's already in place, and I'm sure will continue because it's been very successful, that more of the ideas from the base itself will be able to take it on board with the products, and hopefully with the investment track record that Rocket Software seem to have in terms of research and development, accelerate some major moves within the U2 arena.
Okay, so for the software houses, as you see it at the moment, who use U2 to develop their applications, would your advice be just not worry?
I think change always creates unrest. But like when IBM bought U2, that had significant changes. Most of them were that things within the IBM brand, so that was a positive thing. Using the IBM brand will cause some concern, but it's within the sales arena. The positives are that I think the product has a massive future. Again, I think one of the risks within IBM was how long did U2 have a life when you look at their direction in terms of SQL servers and so forth in the DB2 arena. I think it had a limited lifespan technically within IBM. I think with it coming out of the IBM family and into its own independence now, it will all move forward. So I think calm is what is required in the marketplace. And all assurances today from both Susie via the 2 letters that she sent out and other communications are that things are not going to change. It's business as usual. You can still buy through us as the distributor, not changed with APT. People buying direct can still buy through the UTBC channels. Nothing should be there to upset the apple cart.
Okay, so for you, basically, move forwards, it's business as usual, and you're motoring forwards.
Absolutely. We're obviously still waiting to find out more information. We're hoping to speak to the team in Denver. They've had a very busy week with U2 University happening. And of course, one of the reasons the announcement happened on Tuesday night like it did was because the U2 University in Denver was happening on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week. So the whole team has been involved in that, which has probably made it very difficult for them to make more time to speak to the key distributors around the world. So I would speak directly with Susie shortly.
Okay, talking of the U2 universities, there's one coming up in the UK, isn't there?
Absolutely. It's in Liverpool. It's from October the 13th to the 15th. All of the key technical people from the U2 team are going to be here, as well as the senior management team. So we're going to have, Susie's going to be here. Everybody else that is involved in this process will be there as well. It's an excellent opportunity for you to come along, see what's happening with the product. I think there's some major things, hopefully from the Rocket Chief Executive and the UNIS on what their intentions are, because my understanding is that the deal will actually finalise at the end of September. So by October, he should be able to give us much more of an idea as to where he sees the future of the UT product within the UT portfolio. So I think get yourselves along to UT University. If you go to our website, www.u2uk.com, you can see the details in there. Give us a call and we can book you a place on there.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the people out there before I just say thank you?
I would just really like to say that I've worked with Susie and her team for a long time now, and I've always believed that Susie has the best intentions of the product at heart, and I would see this move as something that is the right thing for the product to be going through. I trust Susie's judgments, and I think we all should in terms of the U2 product set. The other thing to remember is that this is a very unusual step for IBM. IBM does not normally sell its software platforms. You know, they've sold Unidata, all of its U2, all of its assets, all of its IP, and they would not do that unless they believed it had a long-term future. The last thing IBM would want is any tarnishing of its reputation about a previous software package that it owned having some problems. So they must believe in what we're going to do with the product. There was more than one suitor for this particular purchase, so they've selected the people they believe are going to do the best for the product, and I'm sure Susie and her team have as well. So we just want to hear what's going to happen now, and I'm sure it's all going to be good news.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time and agreeing to talk to me.
You're welcome.
All right, bye for now. Thank you.